If someone in your family is about to buy a land or a house in Abuja or Port Harcourt or probably anywhere in Nigeria, please send them this video, because I've seen people lose money buying property here in Abuja and even Port Harcourt. And this is not necessarily because they didn't do the needful, because they inspected the land, they saw the document, they spoke to the seller, and they even signed an agreement. But somehow they still lose money. The reason is simple. A property scam doesn't always look like one. It looks like opportunity. It looks like good deal. It looks like if you are not buying it now, you are missing out. So today I'm going to show you 5 ways people get scammed buying land or houses in Abuja and Port Harcourt. So I'm not just going to tell you the scam, I'm going to show you the story, how it usually unfolds, and the hidden things behind it, how to identify a scam. I'm going to start with the story of 2 innocent buyers standing on the same piece of land. Imagine this. You saw a piece of land, you inspected it, the owner took you to the exact location, you saw the document, you paid, you signed an agreement, and then you go home feeling like you've secured your future. The following week, you came to that piece of land because you want to start work there, and suddenly you saw someone standing on that same piece of land and is questioning you. What are you doing on my land? You got into a conversation with the person and you brought out your document. The person brought out his document, same location, same plot. Then you brought out your receipt. The person brought out his receipt. You brought out your agreement paper. The person brought out his agreement paper. Both of you paid for the land. So what are you going to do about this? How do you resolve it? How do you come out of this mess? I always tell people, receipt alone is not an evidence that you own a land. It shows that money was transferred, a transaction happened, but it doesn't prove that a land belongs to you. The problem wasn't necessarily that the receipt was fake. I mean, even if we know that receipt is not enough for land transaction, but the problem is that there was no reliable allocation trail to the actual owner. There was no history of transfer of ownership. The thing is, the buyer was looking at the documents, but they weren't looking at the chain of transfer. Who actually owns that land? Does the person have the right to sell that property? You need to check all this. The second scam here is a work package fake document. Now, this is a bit synonymous to the first scam, but let me lay you in on the trap here. This particular one is very dangerous because it plays on what buyers call, oh, I've seen the document, I've received the document, and I have verified it. No, you have seen the document and you have verified the document is an entirely different thing, because a document can look official. It can have the seal, it can have the signatures, it can have the numbers, but still it's not true to the land in question. So seeing the document is not the same thing as verifying the document. So when you see the document, the next thing you're going to do is to verify it. You don't need to bank on mere words or mere seeing the document. And there's a situation where the developer or the seller can say, oh, we've sold over 50 plus in this estate. That's information. That's not verification. You have sold over 50 plus in this estate. That's perfect. Can I see the document? Let me chat it. Personally, I want to independently chat it. Can I see the document? Let me give it to my lawyer to chat. Can I see the document? Let me go to the Surveyor General office to check if that document is true to the land in question you are trying to sell to me. You need to do all of these things so that you do not end up spending millions of naira and then you end up buying lands that are going to be problematic. Probably not immediately, but in future. The third scam people experience in Abuja or Port Harcourt or anywhere in Nigeria is buying land that are under government acquisition. Now, this one is a bit tricky because you might not really know. The land will look beautiful, the documents will even look good. In fact, there are chances that people might even be staying close to that location or in that very space they are buying from. So it might look convincing that the land is genuine, but the only thing that is genuine to me is verification. You need to search the land to find out if this land is under government acquisition. So for those of you that are just seeing my video for the first time, let me chip in what I meant by land that have been acquired by the government. In Nigeria, there are lands that we call committed lands and there are others that we call not committed lands, right? So the committed lands are those lands that the government set aside for public purposes, and then the not committed ones are the ones that you can buy. But you see, those committed ones, do not buy them except the government gave them as, and If government is giving a land out, it's called a section. So you are going to get a gazetted document for such land. Any land that the government will use for public purpose like school, hospital, anything public, don't buy it. Because even if the government don't have use for that land immediately, in 5 years time, in 10 years time, when the need for that land arise, you are going to move your house from that land, and they won't really care the amount of money you have spent on that land. That's why sometimes you see some building being demolished. Sometimes if you do a checking well, you find out that some of the lands are committed land. There are areas that you are not supposed to build on. Third one here is the estate that was never built. Now this one is particularly for off-plan buildings. Off-plan buildings are buildings that are still in the development stage. That means you pay the developer maybe in installment, and then as you are paying, your house is being built. Before you invest in an off-plan building, make sure you know the track record of the developer. You need to know the project they have done before. You need to know whatever they have done before. Did they deliver their promise? Where the house is handed over to the client, do your own finding yourself. How long have they been in this business? I understand that there are some cases where an off-plan project can be delayed. A building can be delayed for legitimate reason. That doesn't mean the developer is a scam. I mean, genuine thing can really happen, right? But that doesn't mean the developer is a scam. But in all honesty, before you invest in an off-plan building, make sure that the developer will deliver. A lot of people experience the, I pay money to this, I'm supposed to get the house in 1 year's time. This is 3 years, 4 years, I've still not seen the land. What is the problem? The fifth scam is the family that keeps coming back. Now, this title sounds funny, and it also seems like it's a simple thing until you are inside the mess. This one is very, very popular. I could bet that you have heard about this. You found a family land, the price is very, very attractive. There is no developer, that means it's not so expensive, right? And there are no agency fee. You are not paying any agent anything. Basically, you are dealing directly with people who say, this is my family land, and then you pay them the money. 2 weeks later, another family member appears from nowhere. Who sold this land to you? This land belongs to, or who sold this land to you? And then somehow you went into a conversation and understanding with them. You sorted them out, and then you thought that was over. Before you know it, another family grew out from nowhere again. Who sold this land to you again? So the cycle keeps going. It keeps recurring over and over and over and over again. And then somehow, the land that you thought that it was direct, straight from the direct owner, don't need to go through agent or developer, you bought it straight, have put you in several family meetings that you have no business to attend. So here is the solution. Anytime you are buying a family land, don't just ask, does this land belong to your family? Well, that question is good, but it's not enough. Who are the relevant family members? Who have the right to sell this very land? Who have the right to sign it? Ask questions. Ask them, have this land been documented? Because there are lots of family land that have not yet been documented. They are virgin lands. Because sometimes what looks like you are saving money, you are cutting middleman, you want to do direct, can lead you to one of the greatest risks. This is not to say that you can't buy family land. No. What I'm trying to tell you is that you have to be careful. Make sure you do your proper due diligence, and make sure you are buying from someone that have the authority to sell that land, so that you don't hear stories. So if you have any friend, family, your spouse in Nigeria or in diaspora that's planning to buy land here in Abuja or Port Harcourt or even anywhere in Nigeria, send them this video. It won't take you a second to do this. But if they lose these millions of naira, it will take them years, or they might not even recover this money. And for you that is watching this video, please pay attention to every details. Before you buy land here in Abuja or Port Harcourt, urgency is a weapon. But you see, verification is a perfect shield. It's to protect your money, it's to protect your land. Always verify your documents. I'll see you tomorrow. I'm Lady Real Estate. Bye.